In West Australian Noongar language, I say Kaya Wanju. Hello and welcome. As Australia's Minister for Indigenous Health and an Aboriginal man of Noongar, Yamatji and Wongai descent, it gives me great pleasure to address you, First Nations people from across the globe who've travelled far to meet today. I pay my respect to your elders past and present, and also acknowledge the custodians of the lands on which you meet and have come from. I thank the World Federation of Public Health Associations for the invitation to launch its first Indigenous working group. I acknowledge the wisdom that is present in the room and the possibilities that can result from sharing your perspectives and working together to improve the health of First Peoples across the world. I understand the working group will inform the global development of culturally appropriate Indigenous public health policies. I fully support and commend this endeavour. I am proud that Carmen Parda and Summer Finlay have been appointed inaugural co-chair and co-vice chair. Here in Australia, there is a blossoming understanding that strong cultural connections are fundamental to the health and well-being of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. They are what makes us feel whole. Across the world, culture is a foundation of healing and empowerment. Yet incorporating culture has not been consistent enough component of public health policies and interventions, partly from a lack of understanding of its importance. I'm confident your group can identify and share what is working well in this area and make recommendations on other initiatives that should be investigated further. In Australia, Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has emphasised the importance of doing things with, not to, our First Nations people. This is a positive approach of shared leadership from the ground up, a commitment to work and walk together. In Australia, we are committed to respect and support for culture while tackling the social determinants of health to improve the lives and well-being of First Nations people. Following extensive consultations late last year, we released the My Lead, My Life report. It identifies 4 principles of operation that might be useful for your work. Firstly, strong connections to culture and family are vital for health and well-being. Secondly, the best results come through genuine partnerships with community. Thirdly, the impacts of trauma and systemic racism cannot be ignored. And finally, the lack of cultural capacity, safety and security remain barriers to health. In Australia, we have a 10-year National Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Health Plan. It provides the framework for directing investment and effort to improve health outcomes. This year, we are updating its implementation plan with a strong focus on social and cultural determinants to drive more responsive services. Much work is underway to address barriers in our health system. A nationally agreed cultural respect framework underpins the delivery of culturally competent care. Updates to the safety and quality accreditation standards prioritise the needs of First Nations people. And the government, medical colleges, the Australian Indigenous Doctors Association and the National Aboriginal Community Controlled Health Organisations are collaborating on streamlining systems. Work on the incorporation of Indigenous culture into modern healthcare must be Indigenous-led. I'll be interested in your recommendations on how we can support and strengthen culture in health delivery. To assist, I'm pleased to announce the Australian Government will contribute $22,000 towards the cost of your important work this year. I understand this will include developing your 3-year plan and your international branding along with promotional material to advertise your work and seek further engagement. I urge you, as a group, to share your deliberations, to support the models at work, and to take a positive approach to activities that promote the protective power of culture. On a personal note, I very much look forward to hearing about the findings of the working group from Carmen and Summer on their return. I wish every one of you the very best in your discussions and deliberations, and what you are doing is an incredible step in challenging the thinking that prevails currently, but will allow for culture and its integrity of what it means to us as First Nations people to be considered by all health systems. I thank you for the work that you are doing.